UK officially states China has now broken the Hong Kong Pact, considering sanctions.
Here's a summary of the article.
4-minute read. London, Britain on Thursday said China had broken its main bilateral treaty on Hong Kong by imposing new rules to disqualify elected legislators in the former British colony, cautioning that it would consider sanctions as part of its response. The British flag was lowered over Hong Kong when the colony was handed back to China in 1997 after more than 150 years of British rule. Imposed after Britain defeated China in the First Opium War, Hong Kong's autonomy was guaranteed under the One Country, Two Systems agreement enshrined in the 1984 Sino-British Joint Declaration signed by then Chinese Premier Zhao Ziyang and British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Beijing's imposition of new rules to disqualify elected legislators in Hong Kong constitutes a clear breach of the legally binding Sino-British Joint Declaration, Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said. Opposition members of the Hong Kong Assembly say they have tried to make a stand against what many people in Hong Kong see as Beijing's whittling away of freedoms and institutional checks and balances, despite a promise of a high degree of autonomy. China denies curbing rights and freedoms in the global financial hub, but authorities in Hong Kong and Beijing have moved swiftly to stifle dissent after anti-government protests flared in June last year and plunged the city into crisis. Britain now considers China has broken the joint declaration 3 times, including with the national security legislation for Hong Kong introduced this year. The UK will stand up for the people of Hong Kong, and call out violations of their rights and freedoms, Raab said.
This post received a score of 100,000, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Incoming China bans on UK exports.
It didn't work well for them last time.
Time for a new century of humiliation, mofos. Nah, we won't do that. China getting angry about all that is part of the reason for some bad current situations, but anyways.
Based on their track record, we need to wait a couple more decades, then we can go back in after they go boom again.
I remember the old Mingsplosion.
UK just needs to convert to a horde and they'll be set.
Boris Khan has a nice ring to it.
Hugh William Shatner, Khan.
How much do you guys wanna bet this won't go further than strongly worded letter?
Really breaking the pact should mean Hong Kong comes back under UK control or has referendum to vote for independence or UK control or integrate into China. You shouldn't be able to break pacts and then pay it off in sanctions.
Greater than you shouldn't be able to break pacts and then pay it off in sanctions. First principle of great power relations, blow it out your ass. There is no authority which can force a country like China to hold such a referendum in Hong Kong. The fact the UN can impose any sanction against a permanent Security Council member is already a major achievement for international institutionalism.
If both North America and Europe coordinated heavy sanctions, I think that would significantly impact China. Edit. I don't know how I forgot how cynical Reddit is. If the rest of the world was like you people, we'd have given up and died out a long time ago.
This is what should have happened under Trump. He had his chance to unite us with Europe against China. He was so close and just couldn't be seen as someone on the same side as the Germans and French. Hopefully Biden has the guts to pull this off.
Trump has been a wild card at the best of times. It's dangerous to unite with a guy who's to pay in debt to heaven knows who can flip-flop within the hour, who praised Xi Jinping many times, who loves dictators. He can blow as much hot air as he wants, but nobody should be making international pacts against China with the US being in omnishambles run by a narcissistic madman.
So China did want to hammer out that Phase 1 trade deal to buy more American agricultural produce because they didn't want the relationship to completely escalate and they needed a softer way out of short-term pain. China is now increasingly diversifying their soy import to multiple countries, notably Brazil. The tone of the next 5-year plan in China, for example, is different to the last one. The new dual circulation emphasis means China is willing to suffer short-term pain for long-term gain and is going to go to great length to make sure they won't get into the same situation again as they are in right now.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.